Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Avon Calling. I am joined by two beautiful ladies. First, we have Miss Jessica Z. Miss Jessica, we are going to be doing another segment of this episode. Could you tell us where we can find that video on your channel?
Yes, it's at youtube.com/makeupmavenjessica.
Awesome. Thanks, Miss Jess. And we are joined by a wonderful guest today, Miss Orenthia Ricketts, Gold Leader, Inner Circle member. Hi, Miss Orenthia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So thank you all for joining us for another episode of Avon Calling. All right, guys, so why don't we get started and go ahead with our first question. Ms. Orenthia, we have been seeing you on the covers of the Avon brochures, in the recruiting flyers of the Avon catalog. So we've been seeing you, but we want to get a chance to know you a little better. So could you tell us what it was that made you decide to join Avon?
Well, I started Avon in 2007, and I started primarily at that time because I wanted to earn a little extra cash. I was working a full-time job, but I love to shop, love to buy shoes, so I wanted to have a little extra money of my own that I could go shoe shopping without explaining to the husband, what I was doing with the money from the budget. So I did a little research, looked around the industry a little bit. I knew I didn't want to go to a part-time job. I wanted to do something on my own terms. So Avon was a natural choice because my mom had sold Avon in the past, so I was already familiar. Plus, all the stuff that Avon does in the community, the women's empowerment initiatives that they have, that was just one of the things that attracted me to the company. And also the fact that there's something for everyone in the Avon brochure. So it was, kind of an eye-opener when I looked at what the company, really was about. So I started then just to earn that extra $100, and it worked out great right from the start.
So $100 to get some shoes, that's I love that. I love that shoe story. I've heard it a few times, and I always love it because, I think that's great. So with wanting to earn some extra money, just $100, how did you get your first customers? How did that start the ball rolling in your Avon journey?
Well, my very first customer, and I always like to tell this story, was my mother-in-law, because whatever I do, she always supports me. So she came and she was ordering from that book. She was ordering bubble bath, and I was just happy to get the order. And then I realized, well, she's probably not going to order every single campaign, so I might need to find some other customers. So I started to talk to people at my job, even though I was so very shy and kind of scared, weird, right? That I was selling Avon and kind of, had a little incognito thing going on. I didn't let everybody know. But I started there, and then I decided to let everyone in my neighborhood know that I was the local Avon rep. So I went to every single house within the 5-block radius of my home and put a brochure on the door. Still wasn't brave enough to ring the doorbell, believe it or not. But I said, well, you know what? They'll get the book. If they want some Avon, they'll call me. And slowly but surely, the calls started trickling in. So that's how I got started. No social media, nothing like that. Just a good old-fashioned way of connecting with people.
And I feel like we all kind of start off that way. I don't know about you, but I mean, even if you told me you were a shy person, Miss Orenthia is afraid to ring bells. Why? With that face? Just ding dong, I'm here.
Let me tell you, when I started, I used to go early in the morning before anybody was awake because I was definitely afraid that someone would open the door and catch me. I don't know why, but that was how I felt. So I tried to go early on Sunday mornings and just hurry up, hang the book, and walk away. I mean, if I heard a dog bark, I was almost dead, But it was that scary for me. But over time, I got better. Got less afraid, less shy, and it's really helped me grow as a person, really stepping out there.
Yes, same here. I also used to go really early in the morning before the sun was up. I would go walk with my mom because I was young. She wasn't letting me out in the morning by myself, but I would go super early and just leave the brochures at the doors. And by 9 o'clock, when people started to get up, we had 7, 8 o'clock when people started to get up for work, I had to make sure I was done. And if I wasn't, I was going home anyway, because when I start to hear cars starting up, I'm like, oh, people are waking up, I'm gone.
Mhm.
But it's nice to know that it's okay to start from that place, because now I can go out mid-afternoon. I actually try to go out more mid-afternoon, so I do have those opportunities to connect with people and develop that conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's helped increase my confidence. You know, when those orders just started trickling in, I was like, oh, okay, this is working. So, you know, what's going to work more? How can I be more efficient with my books, more efficient with my time, and increase my order size? So yeah, I love hearing that we all, you know, we're kind of nervous at first, but throughout the evolution of our Avon sales, you know, now we're so much more comfortable going and talking to people because we believe in the products, we believe in the opportunity, and it's so much easier to start those conversations now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
So what would you say was your method for creating a plan to go from, you know, let me earn my $100 for my shoes to I'm going to make this into a business and, you know, start off by knocking on doors, but how did you develop your plan to take it to the next level?
Well, I have a quote that I use that, you know, you either find a way or the way finds you. And I think the way found me, because in 2008, I lost my job. I lost my corporate job. And I mean, I was so hurt. I was so disappointed that, you know, you put in all this work, you do your best, and then you get that proverbial tap on the shoulder that, you know, ma'am, your services are no longer needed. The department I worked for closed. And while I could have looked for another job inside the company, I decided not to, because I never ever wanted to feel that sense of powerlessness ever again. So I decided that, you know what, maybe this is a sign that I've been waiting for, that I really need to launch out into a business of my own. Because work ethic was definitely not an issue for me. You know, I love to work and I work hard. So who better to work for than myself? So I had a discussion with my husband and I said, you know, I really want to see if I could do this Avon thing full time. He says, well, I will support you. You have 1 year to make it work. If it doesn't work after 1 year, you're going back to work. And guess what? I didn't want to go back to work, so I made it work.
Awesome. That motivation, like that became your driving force. You gave yourself a time frame. You had to make it work in that time. And or the alternative was to go back to work, and you were like, I don't want that.
Not doing it. Yeah, so I, you know, really started to formulate some plans and goals and looked at the numbers, because my philosophy is this: if you can sell one lipstick, you can sell 10. If you can sell 10, you can sell 100. So I kind of look at things from an exponential standpoint, that all I have to do, you know, whatever effort I expended to make one sale, I double that to make 2 sales, and on and on and on. And I basically just kept going.
That's great. That's great. So as you were learning how to sell and, you know, sell 10 lipsticks, I'm sure that there were objections and some walls that would come up in front of you. How did you overcome them? How do you continue to overcome them and keep pushing forward?
Well, I would meet a lot of people that would say, oh, no, thank you, I don't use Avon. And I would ask, I said, I'm just curious, why? Well, no, they don't sell anything that I like. I said, well, have you looked at an Avon brochure lately? Because the product line has definitely changed. Oh, well, you know, I don't think the quality. I said, well, you know what? The quality has also, you know, really gotten better on a lot of things. So I encourage you, take a look and see what we have and see what you might be able to use. Just flip through, you know, because we have stuff for men, for women, for children, for makeup wearers, non-makeup wearers. And I would just kind of try to engage the person to let them know that, listen, this is not just a lipstick company. This is not just a skincare company. We have so much. And I would always have samples, or always try to have samples on hand that I can say, you know what, take this product, give it a try, you know, a couple of days, and let me know what you think. If you think it might be something you want to try, then let me know. So I wouldn't just, you know, say, okay, thank you, when people objected. I would try to engage them to really get to the bottom of what the objection, you know, where the objection really originated. Are you objecting to me? Are you objecting to Avon? You know, how can you object to something that you really don't know much about?
That is actually a really great way of looking at it, because I think whether you're a new rep or an existing rep who's been around for a while, a lot of times when you hear that no, you think of it as like the door slamming shut, all opportunity for further conversation is dead. But I like how you took the approach of, a conversational method. Just like if you're talking to a friend and they say, you say, do you want to go to the movies today? And they're like, no. You don't just say, oh, okay, well, we're not going to be friends anymore. You're like, okay, well, why? Can you not make it today? Is tomorrow a better day? Do you not want to see this movie? And you engage in the conversation. I think that's why not only are you an awesome person, but that's why you're able to build success. You cannot just, hear a no and just shut down. And, we all go through the learning process of learning this, but just by sometimes finding out what the reason for the no, you could, not force the person, but be able to better serve them. Because they may be thinking that Avon is just lipstick. A lot of the men that I talk to, they're like, oh, that's that lipstick company. And I'm like, yeah, but you shower, right? You use cologne, right? So we have something for you too.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to, when we're approaching people, is to start a conversation, not just shove an Avon brochure in their face, because if you shove it in their face and they say no thank you, where do you go from there? There's nowhere to go. Versus if you start a real conversation with them about whatever, the weather, them, or whatever you're comfortable, with starting the conversation, then if they say, oh no thank you, I don't use Avon, then you can say, may I ask why? Because you've been having that conversation before. So it's just follows naturally that the conversation can continue. Like you said, somebody says no, that doesn't mean you run away or you just shut them out. You just try to find out their viewpoint. And once you really start to talk to them and they see that you're genuinely interested in their needs, not necessarily just selling them something, then that changes the game altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you kind of touched on this a little bit. You said sometimes in your conversation you'll pull out a sales tool like a trial size, a demo item, a sample. Could you tell us like a pro tip that you use to increase your order size?
To increase my order size, I always look for the add-on opportunities. So if somebody's buying a lipstick, I will try to recommend the lip liner to go with it, or I'll try to come up with like a 2-4 or a 3-4 deal. Like I'm infamous for, doing, well, the lipsticks are $5.99 in the brochure, but if you buy 4, you get 4 for 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that has worked quite a bit because everybody likes a great deal, and they also like to have options. So instead of having just one color, now you have 4, and you've gotten a great price. So I do things like that, and I also try to sample what I use, specifically what I use, because people ask me all the time, oh, your lipstick looks nice, or your earrings look nice, or whatever, and so I try to extend what I'm wearing to them, to say at least you can see it, you can touch it, you can see what it does for me. Perhaps it can do the same for you. So I really talk a lot about the skincare I use, the lipsticks I wear, etc.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you teach that to your new reps? Do you teach exactly that? Do you take them out in the field? How is it that you help your team members increase their order size?
Well, as I will always say, to be quite honest, this team building thing is a work in progress for me. This is not something that comes naturally for me, so I have to work at that. I do impart to my team members what I do. That doesn't mean that they're going to employ the same tactics or the same actions that I do, because they're them. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to let them know, be yourself. Be you. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be yourself. Do what comes naturally. You can learn. You learn as you go. So if you're comfortable talking to the people at your job, talk to the people at your job. But while you're talking to them, understand that they're not going to order every single campaign. But then ask them, would you mind taking a brochure to your church or at home and collecting some orders for you, so that your business will start to expand and you really have not even left your comfort zone yet. So I try to encourage them to take different approaches, but I encourage them to be themselves. Be yourself and just learn as you go. Rome wasn't built in a day. I didn't get to where I am in this business overnight. It's been 10 years, so it did take a while for me to build my business to what it is now. So just take your time, be patient, set those goals, and rock it out.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those tips with us, Ms. Orenthia. So we actually are going to be continuing the conversation a little bit more on Jessica's Makeup Maven channel. So be sure to hop on over. Ms. Orenthia, thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. It's always lovely to talk to you, and I appreciate that you give so much emphasis to being yourself and being a person talking and sharing with other people, not just a billboard, flashing by Avon. So I love that about you. Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I always go back to the same one. Just be you. Just be yourself. People know it when you're being fake. People know it when you don't care about them. And as long as you remember that, you'll do well in whatever you choose to do, whether it's Avon or it's anything else. Just be you. Be the best version of you that you can be.
Awesome, awesome. You're so good with the quotes too.
I live and die by quotes. Believe that.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Looking forward to another episode of Avon Calling right here with you. But for now, hop on over to Makeup Maven Jessica so we can continue talking and chatting with Ms. Orenthia. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.